Hello and good morning. So today we have a request from Azur with one of his new ones here. So this is the rendition heavy duty starter. Pretty much a heavier duty version of the starter AC, as he called it, a basic female dog build. Personally, I prefer to call them generic jacks. Generic jack of all trade kind of builds. Anyway, this thing is all about the armor and outlasting the other guy. And he's fighting against the prototype AI, which is currently experiencing the invisibility glitch, which has recently shown up. I'm starting to wonder if it's just a matter of how many times a save is overwritten. Since, basically if you back out of the menu, specifically the build menu for the head, wait a minute, and then you go back, usually it causes it to reappear because the rendition was having the same issue. So who knows, maybe the game is just getting entirely corrupted now. Oh well, guess gonna have to start over from scratch. I seriously hope not. But either way, we'll deal with that as it comes. Hopefully somebody has some sort of answer. Now, the prototype AI, it didn't exactly come with any weapons on it. This thing was just kind of slapped to a wall, and that was that. So, gave it some weapons, gave it some stuff. I figured he would probably be using the Mirage stuff, since all the rest of his stuff is Mirage. Even though Kisaragi was making the guard for it, but, who even knows. One of the other guards was using Crest parts, so I think they were pretty okay with going with their competitors. Any dang ways. Yeah, this thing doesn't have that much of a walk tendency. Why is it walking? It's mostly set to dash and fly because it's got a good bit of energy reserves on it. Nice. There we go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the heavy duty's gonna end up winning this. Obviously, right after this, I'm gonna have to test it against the other starters and see how it does. Could definitely see this functioning as it's probably the kind of starter that they ended up going with after LR, assuming they ever decided to go back to using machines for anything whatsoever. After that sort of nonsense. But alright, so we got one of the starter. Moving on. Personally, I still think early Gen 3 has a chance here. Doesn't actually have a chance. It's literally worse in every single way. But I like to pretend that he has a chance. We'll see, we'll see. I like that rusty bastard. God, that coffee's good. Lately started getting sick after they changed the formula that apparently is used to make this agave stuff I put in my coffee. Like the stuff. Okay, whoops. Actually hit the stick, which I use to mess with the menus. But anyway, so yeah, they recently changed it, and it just, my wife and I started getting sick from the stuff, and I don't know why. The stuff's basically cactus juice. There was really no reason for them to add anything. But that stuff just got gross. So he started picking up this this crazy sweet stuff you see all the time, the standard coffee creamer stuff, and haven't had that stuff in ages. And it's just suddenly like, man, it's friggin' ice cream in a cup that's all caffeinated and makes your head feel great. That's fun. That's fun. All right, so that's 2 to that one. I'm pretty sure we know how this is gonna go. This thing is pretty solidly able to dominate the Fortress AI, I would say. Well, this isn't... Okay, this is technically the prototype AI, not the Fortress AI or the Guard AI, because everything's a friggin' AI in Sightline, but yeah. Man, that must have been one easy development thing. Like, they're just looking at it like, okay, guys, we need antagonists, like AI. We just slap AI onto, just like they pull out a friggin' dictionary. They're just like flipping through like some kind of military dictionary or whatever. Like, okay, we find a thing, we slap the word, and we just slap AI on the end of it or before it. Like, yes, genius. This is what we need. And so everything became an AI at that point. And then they got to the whole thing of, okay, we got helper AI. How do we do that? And then you go train the thing for like 100 friggin' billion years, and then it learns to pick its nose. And that's how the helper AIs happened. Look it up, it's probably in the Bible or something. Actually, it's kind of funny. So, like, regularly, I used to get a thing of like, oh, technically I went to Catholic school or whatever, why are you not going to church? Well, usually the answer was, it's, you know, kind of dull. There was like one priest that was interesting once, and that guy was funny. But, no, just by and large, it was like, okay, you're repeating the same story over and over, and then you have a cracker. So, all's well and good. Then I find out the other day that the guy that basically ran this Catholic school I went to was arrested for being a pedophile. What a shock. Yeah, this was like a shock to absolutely no one, because there was pretty much a constant rumor while over there that the guy possibly had mob connections too, but oh well. It was an interesting discovery, and fell very hard on a stereotype. Alright, so, comparing this thing to other starters, we're going to go through this other list first. Let's go ahead and swap them over. There we go. Okay, let me show you how this invisibility thing looks before jumping off onto a million different topics. So, okay, go to here, select the thing, right? So, as you see, if you back out quickly out of the menu, it's still invisible. But, go through it, you open it up, go through all the parts, so that they all just appear at least once, wait a sec, and then back out, and then usually he reappears again. Okay, that time he didn't, so that sucks. I don't really know why he's not reappearing now. Go to the paint menu, let's do stuff. Update color, no. Now let's change this by 1. Bam, huge change. Now we're back out of there, and now did he appear? He's appeared! Okay, great. Well, that was fascinating. Now, moving on. Let's go to the friggin' other starter ACs here. And here we go. Alright, let's start with AC2. Wait, crap. I hit manual. No, those controls are a travesty. We can't do that. By the way, if you're wondering, yeah, this controls like absolute rectum. There's... You can kind of move around a little bit, but just in general, you don't get a lockbox. It's impossible to tell what the hell's going on, and there's a constant delay to the controls. So, problems. Definitely problems. I'm gonna go ahead and not do that. No, wait, not reach. Oh. Idiot, stop hitting random buttons. Oh my goodness. Also, apparently start is boost in this one particular instance somehow. I don't know how that works. It shouldn't be boost. Oh well. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go for 2. Actually, let's start with 1. We're gonna go for 1, we're gonna go 2, then we're gonna go 3, then the Hogire. Yeah. And then probably go for the Mercmobile. Because why not? Every starter AC has to go through the gauntlet, dang it. Alright, I think this is, pretty self-explanatory right now. Wow. No kidding. Alright. Okay, well, I mean, AC1 starter got a little bit close. Got a couple slashes in, that's probably as close as any of them are gonna get. Other than maybe the Hogire, it could probably pull off an overheat with its warheads, possibly. Okay, so, there's that. You can hear the huge, just shock, waves of shock going through the community. Yeah, no one was surprised. Okay. The Gecko. I mean, it's got a little better DPS, and not a whole lot else going for it. So, just let this beatdown play out. Move on to the next one. I'm gonna think of it. Has this thing even used this missile? One thing I've noticed is whenever there's a linear rifle around, it seems to have a very high priority for the AI. Literally every AC I can think of that had a linear rifle seems to really love using that thing over any other weapon, so I don't know why that is. Like, I haven't seen him fire his missiles at all, now that I think about it. He's set for kind of medium-long range preferences. And he's going to immediately prove me wrong now, by the way. But yeah, no, in general, they seem to love sticking to that rifle, which I don't blame them. The thing is a very, very nifty thing. Man, that was some pretty good decoy usage right there. And that's why you gotta give him that missile extension. Like, oh yes. You see that missile? I'm gonna go decoy that one, dodge these other ones like a friggin' champ. Yeah, it's the good stuff. Also, it's nice of them to actually remake this this factory in a way that makes sense. If it still had that gap wall there in the middle, stuff would probably be just completely unworkable for the AI here. It was already unworkable for the AI in the games that actually showed up. So, like, I don't get it. There's just this friggin' wall in my way, and I'm gonna go through it, but I'm being locked on the other side of it. I think I'm gonna go turn on my stealth extensions anyway, even though they're a room over, and just completely burn through them all. It's funny. Because, yeah, you could use that map to just completely cheese out anything that use stealth extensions. You could just basically go to this one corner in it, and they see the little lock icon. They're like, I'm locked on. I don't want to be locked on from the other side of this wall, and then they think you're gonna have, like, some kind of friggin' whatever the hell that game was, that had a smart gun that shot through walls. Is that Perfect Dark? I don't know, it was on the 64. It's been a minute. Like, I didn't even have a 64, it was my friend that I went and played with. A rich friend that had the giant house, and then 64. And the giant trampoline. Man, that was awesome. I can't believe I lost that friend for purely, like, parent politics. Oh well. Freaking sweet. Like, honestly, growing up with a rich friend is just the best. Any days. I don't even know if that counts as growing up with a rich friend. That was, like, a few months. Oh well. Alright, yeah, this thing is doing really well with those multi-shot missiles and everything. The Nymphs are just fantastic. And this missile launcher, just in general, I think is probably my favorite in the series. Especially the early 3rd gen variation of it, where somebody decided, let's give this thing 48 missiles somehow. That's not overkill? Yeah. It's good stuff. This thing is just like the epitome of, let's stick all the generally useful stuff on 1 AC and a crap ton of armor and call it a day. And I can absolutely see this being a standard. Also, that was an accident, by the way. I accidentally hit fast forward. I keep forgetting that I have stuff hooked up to my right thumbstick. And I just ended up bumping the thing on my desk. If it can be called a desk, it's like sort of jury-rigged together desk at the moment, because my actual desk got repurposed. Oh well. Wife needed it for stuff. Alright. How are you still living, Taurus? He actually might last to the end of the fight at this rate. I mean, I guess he's got shell defense out the nose, but dang. Way to go, Taurus. Proud of you, buddy. Such a good starter. Oh, it's also probably because I spent the first minute of the fight just dancing around this pole. Oh, there's that. Okay. So there's that, and then the last one would be... Actually, no, there's 2 more. So we've got the Type Hogar from the Lynx team, and then we've got the Mercmobile representing Gen 5. Even though it's not technically the starter, it's close enough. I would go for Flamefly, but he was trained wrong on purpose. Also, the Mercmobile is more or less a poster for Gen 5. I think it looks more like a starter AC than the actual starter AC. Because for that one, the default starter, like, they took away the choices. If anything, Gen 5 should have been the one that gave you choices at the very start for what kind of AC you wanted to go with. I mean, they did give you all the junk parts you would ever need, so you could make a rough skeleton of whatever you wanted. But in terms of the very first AC you start with, it feels like it would have been kind of appropriate. So it's hard to say if there's a proper starter, because that thing's literally just a skeleton with guns slapped on it. It's basically a chem rifle, solid rifle, pulse gun, and a I think that's it, actually. I don't think it even has a blade on it, now that I think about it. Yeah, it's... I'm gonna say left arm rifle, right arm pulse gun, or right arm chem gun and pulse gun, and then small missiles. Which is basically what the Flamefly is. It's... whatever, let's just show that thing. Were you on tomato? You were on tomatoes, yeah. Let's see this thing last all of 5 seconds. This guy was a Gen 5 joke. He was in AC5, just sort of showed up halfway through the game like, yeah, I'm totally gonna kill you. And then he promptly died. Basically, his whole shtick was he thought he was gonna win in, well, the starter. And it's a joke that I really wish would have happened more in the series. He's barely capable of moving. His build is not actually able to keep up with his weapons. And I think we can kind of assume where this is gonna go. Although, interestingly, he's somehow winning right now. How the hell even? And that's... this is actually kind of why I find it funny. Whenever there's, you know, comparisons between the series, like, oh, you know, you just can't compare the builds from this or the other one. It's like, no, it's the same stuff. It's the same concepts, the same kind of builds. The AP numbers change, which is scalable, so who cares? Yeah, there we go. He's gotten to the point in the fight where he just flat out can't even deal anymore, and he's just gonna sit there and take it. He is finally recharged. He's got his crappy gun back. I will say, as much as I didn't like using them, the pulse guns in Gen 5 were really cool. Because they were just kind of like this auto shotgun spread type thing. Ugh. And he just killed him with a slap to the butt. That is just... Is it possible to be misogynistic against a robot? I don't know. Is that... I mean, they're both kind of dudes, presumably. Maybe they're not. I don't know. You're asking me these things. I'll go Murky Waters. And the last one. Yeah, this was Verdict A's thing. Yeah, it's a shield, a high damage, low piercing machine gun, which in this case is just the high damage machine gun, and a sniper cannon on the back, which is a large missile. So it's a bit of a different thing. I like that they went with a different starter. Honestly, I feel like 4 could have used... I don't think it needed the basic starter, to be totally frank, the Hogire, because the build itself did not actually work in that one. Even though I ended up using it because it felt dirty using anything else, because I... First things first, I went for the Alaya, because that's just the kind of build I usually like going with in Gen 5. Sort of ground-based, fast, high DPS type thing. Or a high burst, not DPS. Actually, no, there was this one that I called the Green Spider that was my favorite for a while. There was this quad that had just massive missile spam on the back. I think it was like a railgun and a motor cobra, which is the 1000 MG of that one. Basically, all the stuff that usually got laughed at, aside from that railgun, because well, the missiles were dodgeable. The motor cobra didn't actually pierce the protective bubble of anything, and well, you know, one gun was not enough to actually kill anything. But its whole purpose was just running. Like it ran ridiculously fast on the ground. And then eventually everybody would run out of shots, and then would have two options. Either they didn't have anything left and would end up having, you know, to just try to get somebody to go out of bounds or something, or they would need to go for close range, which is why that thing had a motor cobra, it had assault armor, and had a blade on it for its kind of end game thing. So it would just basically spam missiles, just like go around ambushing people with missiles the first half, drop those things, you know, then snipe with the railgun, and then at the very end of the fight, if you're unfamiliar with how it worked, the assault armor would basically just blow up your armor to hurt the other guy, take off their shield, which the blade could go through a shield, the machine gun couldn't, but basically blow up their shield, go for a machine gun, and then just basically hold them off with a blade. And it worked shockingly well. Actually, I remember there's one fight in particular where they were actually laughing over the mic, like, oh man, look at this idiot, look at this thing. Friggin' half an hour or whatever into the fight, they're all out. Like, I've been slowly eliminating their entire thing there. And just, you know, two of them are just suddenly very silent in the background. This last guy's like, no, I'll go get this idiot. I ended up beating this guy too, with that exact method I just described, and I just hear a microphone slam in the background and they disconnect. Oh, it was fantastic. It was so friggin' satisfying. Who was I? Oh, I think I was meaning to test this against Apple Boy. Where the hell did I put him? On 7? I think he was on 7. Yeah, here he is. So that'll be the last test. Because he's the last generic AC I can think of that has a chance. Okay, not on this map. Never mind. Definitely not on this map. Whatever, let's give him a go. But that, you know, that was the thing. Poor answer for all of its weird issues online, like the whole thing where assault rifles just became pretty much the meta because, well, everything else may well just show that it's hitting on your end but actually do no damage because it's, you know, shooting at a pillar on their end. It felt amazing. Like, just the game itself was just an amazing amount of freedom. Some of the maps were really cool, like flying on, you know, giant flying cities and whatever else. That was pretty awesome. Big Box, though a lot of people seem to not like that map, was probably my favorite. It was just this giant skyscraper during the night, all these cool lights and everything going on. It was just quite a show. And yeah, luckily it's still around. And I think really that's just what 5th Gen was just kind of lacking. It just didn't look pretty. Like all the other ones, they had some, you know, something to them where they're like, you know, check out our cool vistas over here, look at this skyline over here, or there are these interesting maps, and then, you know, 5 had some cool military type stuff, and then Verdict Day had a lot, you know, sunken cities or whatever. I don't know. There wasn't really anything that majorly stuck out that I can think of anyway. It was cool fighting on the Motherwell and all that, but one of those things where like Poor Answer did that particular map better. And that's just, you know, personal preference and stuff. Like, as much as I like gritty stuff, the very, very sandy, extreme sandy, can't see anything, there's also no cities or any pretty lights anywhere type situation. I felt like, you know, maybe 5 had some better looks as far as that goes. Nice. Well, there we go. That's that. So let me know if you have any other requests. And I'll be back after Thanksgiving.